Sean Murphy. And you're watching BatFacts.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome back to BatFacts. He was the hero that Gotham needed in a time of confusion and uncertainty. A canine crusader. A puppy protector. A good boy. This episode of BatFacts, I'm talking about Ace the Bat-Hound. April 19th, 1954. Seduction of the Innocent by psychiatrist Frederick Wortham is published and sets off a type of hysteria toward the comic book industry that would change the business forever. The book alleged that the day's popular fiction, and specifically comic books, were the cause of childhood delinquency and would inspire deviant lifestyles for their readers. Batman is specifically singled out in various passages. With entire publishing operations going out of business, DC scrambled to ensure that nobody thought that their nocturnal, costumed vigilante character had anything weird going on, promptly overcompensating with the introduction of a Bat family, making Batman the squeaky clean patriarch of a superhero nuclear family. Much more Fred Flintstone than the Shadow. First introduced in this long line of family-themed characters was a dog. Ace the Bat-Hound made his debut in an 8-pager by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldoff in the pages of Batman number 92, July 1955. Roughly a year after the publishing of Seduction of the Innocent, and only a couple of months after the introduction of Superman's canine counterpart, Krypto, in Adventure Comics. Ace was a German Shepherd, similar to both Rin Tin Tin and Ace the Wonder Dog, the canine stars of films and serials from the 1920s through the 40s. When his owner is kidnapped by counterfeiters, Ace is found by none other than Batman and Robin. In a classic blunder, Bruce Wayne hastily posts found dog announcements to several newspapers making note of the dog's recognizable markings. When Ace wants to join the dynamic duo on a search for his owner, Robin cobbles together a costume to conceal his identity, as to not reveal Batman's own identity, and when a crook refers to him as the Bat-Hound after being accosted by the dog, Ace the Bat-Hound was born. We wanted to have characters that the kids could talk about, and I'll tell you, they really worked, said Jack Schiff, editor of Batman at the time. We used to get letters from readers who were just fascinated. Response to the story was favorable, so Schiff made Ace a permanent fixture of the title. Batman and Robin would simply borrow Ace from his owner, with increasingly improbable reasoning, until 1959's Batman number 125. In an issue narrated by Ace himself, his owner is no longer able to care for him, and Ace becomes a permanent resident of Wayne Manor. Born of necessity, it turned out to be a successful gimmick to attract younger readers. Artist Alex Ross would remember it in his book Mythology, saying, "I love the idea of Batman having a dog in a mask. As a kid you think it's cool, and as an adult you think it's outrageous, but you still love it." Overall, this original iteration of Ace the Bat-Hound appeared 24 times in the pages of Batman, Detective, and World's Finest. Graced the cover of Batman 7 times, and Detective once. These adventures saw him run the gamut of heroics, from aiding a blind man, to foiling gangsters, to getting amnesia and turning against the dynamic duo, and even briefly gaining superpowers thanks to an encounter with Batmite. He was a good boy. Then, in 1964, a new editor would take over, essentially rebooting Batman and eliminating many of the ancillary characters, including Ace. And that's how it was left. Ace was simply a bygone relic of a bizarre and reactionary time in comic book history. After sliding even further into kitsch territory thanks to the ubiquitous 1966 TV show, Batman had his own path to redemption, and a masked dog partner wasn't part of it. But not everyone forgot. Evidently fond of Ace, writer Grant Morrison would have Ace cameo while visiting a metatextual comic book purgatory, said to host comic books' forgotten characters. This would first be seen during their legendary Animal Man run, in Animal Man number 25 from 1990. Morrison would revisit this idea some 18 years later in 2008's Final Crisis tie-in, Superman Beyond, where there was again a cameo from the Bat-Hound. But apart from these nostalgia-inducing cameos, that was it for this version of Ace. But in 1991, the idea of Batman's wonder dog Ace would be revisited by Alan Grant and Norm Breyfogle in Batman number 462. This time, Ace is an English Mastiff. This version of Ace had a bat symbol in his fur, and would make sporadic appearances in the Batman titles over the next few years, typically seen in the Batcave alongside mechanic Harold Allnut. These typically animal-themed adventures would see him rescue a fellow canine from sewer rats, take on Killer Croc alongside Batman, and fighting a panther alongside Robin. When John Paul Valley took over for Bruce Wayne at the conclusion of Nightfall, 90s spoiler! Both Ace and Harold were exiled from the cave. They remained secretly in the cave's deeper annals until the pair were more or less forgotten about. Later, when Robin and Nightwing find Harold in his secret home deep within the Batcave, Ace is nowhere to be found, and his absence is never addressed. Poor Ace. In 1999, Fox Kids would introduce Batman Beyond, an animated series starring Terry McGinnis as a futuristic version of Batman, who is mentored by an aging Bruce Wayne. This version of Bruce is often accompanied by a Great Dane, named, of course, Ace. Back in the comics, the New 52 era had begun in 2011. Having trouble bonding with his son, Bruce adopts a pet dog for his son Damien, a Great Dane who he names Titus. Many would speculate that Titus is meant to simply be the New 52 version of Ace, and he almost was. I originally was going to call the dog Ace, but it was decided that it was best not to drop it in at this point in the New 52, writer Peter Tomasi would say of the dog's introduction. As of this recording, the most recent return of Ace to the comic books was a more traditional German Shepherd Ace that would return in an Eisner Award-winning short Good Boy by Tom King from 2016's Batman Annual. The story begins with Batman being attacked by a German Shepherd, the last of a litter of attack dogs that were heavily abused and left for dead by the Joker. In an act of tremendous compassion, Alfred Pennyworth lovingly and patiently rehabilitates the dog. He would make sporadic appearances thereafter where Ace and Titus can be seen hanging out together, confirming that they are in fact now both included within DC canon. So what about Ace outside of comics? Well, other than the aforementioned role in Batman Beyond, it wasn't until the pendulum of tone swung back into a more child-friendly Batman media with a lighter tone that Ace would once again flourish. And it started in 2005's Crypto the Superdog. Meant to be an homage to classic WB and Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and produced by writer and Harley Quinn creator Paul Dini, Ace would be introduced in the Dark-Hound Strikes episode, penned by Dini himself. Ace, this time a Great Dane, has a stoic personality, considers Batman his partner as opposed to his owner, and has a utility collar which houses all manner of crime-fighting gadgetry. Ace appeared in 15 of the show's 39 episodes. Ace would later appear in the Legend of the Dark Might episode of Batman Brave and the Bold, voiced by legendary voice actor D. Bradley Baker. Baker, who specializes in animals and monsters, would also return in an episode of DC Superhero Girls in 2019, alongside friend of the show Tara Strong.
BatFacts!
Speaking of DC Superhero Girls, Ace would appear in several of the online webisodes, typically alongside Crypto. Ace also appears in DC's Super Pets segment of Cartoon Network's DC Nation Shorts, voiced by Diedrich Bader. And please correct me if I'm wrong, makes him the only voice actor to portray both Ace the Bat-Hound and Batman himself. Diedrich Bader, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what a lovely tea party.
In 2014, Ace would be an unlockable playable character in LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, once again voiced by Baker. In 2018, Ace would become a physical LEGO figure for his inclusion in the Attack of the Talons set, as well as the release of the animated film LEGO Superheroes The Flash, in which Ace and Crypto operated as members of the Justice League. Perhaps all of this media exposure was leading to Ace's biggest moment of mainstream recognition, the character's inclusion in 2022's DC League of Super Pets, a CGI animated children's film. In the film, Ace is a boxer, which makes 4 different breeds if you're keeping score, voiced by comedian Kevin Hart.
And I should warn you, I'm 1/8 boxer.
And 7/8 chihuahua.
Ace is a shelter dog who is rescued by Crypto, voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's later given superpowers by exposure to kryptonite, harkening back to Batman number 158, where Ace was temporarily given superpowers. before teaming up with other powered animals to save the Justice League, including a Keanu Reeves-voiced Batman.
Good boy.
Most recently in the comics, Ace was featured in the pages of Batman Urban Legends, in a story that sees him teaming up with several other animal characters, some of which gain superpowers. Only this is a distinctly PG-13 version of the character, complete with a tactical vest and lots of bloodshed, which I think brings the character into his own. Because if there aren't at least two wildly different, even contrasting versions of a character running around, are they even a Batman character? I hope you enjoyed this look at the history of Ace the Bat-Hound. What did I miss? What's your favorite breed for Ace to be? Let me know in the comments. My thanks to newest friend of the show, Sean Gordon Murphy, and if you haven't already, dive into the Murphyverse. It's very much worth your time. If you've come this far, why not drop me a thumbs up? And of course, subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'm on Instagram as BatFacts Videos, where you can follow along for video updates, Batman news, and collection pics. If you would like BatFacts stickers, DM me on Instagram, and I'll send you some. And stay tuned for the next episode of BatFacts, where I'll be looking at the Dark Knight's viral marketing campaign. Some Bat time, same Bat channel. Thanks for watching.